Hello, Farmer Jason here today. We're all locked down right now on the coronavirus COVID-19 lockdown, but that doesn't mean we stop here at Wayford Farm. We still have lots of things to do. We're still open selling food because people are going to have to eat throughout this, but we're also doing our farm work. And so we're out here in the nice cold mid-March morning. I actually like it this cold. It is keeping our trees dormant. But by the same token, I also think that any major snowfall is gone. So what we're going to show today is we're going to show you how we pull off our snowplow. We're going to have to climb underneath it. This is how we plow our snow in the wintertime. This is one of two ways that we actually plow our snow. This one is for doing all of our driveways. It's a steel plow that we can take along, and what it does is we can angle it back and forth, and we'll show you that before we pull it off. We'll show you how we can take it back and forth and maneuver it, and it gets real good through our nice deep snows that we sometimes get here on the farm. We haven't had too many snows lately, so we're going to take this off. And I think by this point of March, it's like March 16th today, if the forecast isn't showing any more snow, we feel safe in taking it off. Sometimes we still get snowfalls, but not this year. So we're going to pull this off, and we're just going to keep posting what we do here on the farm throughout this outbreak. We figure a lot of people are sitting at home looking for things to do, and so I hope that you join us on these. We're going to keep posting these to Facebook and YouTube, and so keep following us. We do have some in the past. You can go on to YouTube and see all of our past videos. So I hope you all sort of enjoy this to watch us during our everybody being socially distancing. All right, we're going to move the tractor. All right, the first thing we got to do is figure out what size bolt I have underneath there. We bent this year plowing in an ice storm, and so I had to redo it. And so I have a new bolt, and I can't remember what size the wrenches are. So even though that sounds easy, it requires me crawling underneath the tractor in this cold morning with multiple different sockets trying to figure out which one's actually going to work. Not as much fun as it sounds. Nope, nothing I brought out is actually big enough. So I'm gonna have to go back in and get my bigger socket set. All right, so I ran back in and I got my monster socket set. This is my tractor repair set where these ones get really big. These are for taking big bolts off. I didn't remember that I put that big of a bolt on it, but obviously I did. So, nope. That's it right there. So I put 1 3/8 inches on it. So now I've got to find for the top. It should be the same size. That's actually smaller. Bigger than that. Alright, I got my 2 bolts. This is my other one, 1¼ inch on the top. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this down and put it in our one shed. So that's gonna be the next part. What I'm gonna do, while I have it here, before I start taking off, I'm gonna take you underneath here. I'm gonna show you how this works. So what we have is we have our tractor. This is our New Holland TD 5050. It is sort of my workhorse tractor that I like to use for a lot of stuff. It is our newest tractor. We used to have all green ones, like the one sitting over there and the one in the shed, and I've got one more in the shop. But our last one, because of pricing and some other things, we decided to go with a New Holland tractor. So what we do with it is how this actually hooks on is right here. It bolts into the front block. And so we'll pull that out once we get down there. And then there's a frame that runs underneath that keeps it steady. And it meets all the way back here in the back. So I'm gonna take you underneath the tractor and show you what I gotta pull off. So what you do is you get up underneath here. And if you see, right there's the frame. And right here's the bolt that I'm gonna have to pull off. And then the bar that all the implements go on is gonna pull out. And so that's what we're gonna have to do with this once we get it down in the correct spot. Go ahead and shut off once. All right, so with the COVID-19 coronavirus, we're off of school for 2 weeks. So this is a great time to spend some family time. So Katie was willing to come down and videotape this. So we decided to do something a little extra with it too. What we decided to do is we're gonna teach Katie a little bit how to drive this. And in the process, we'll teach all of you also. So the first thing you have to realize about tractors is they are slightly different than cars. What we have is Katie right now has her foot on the clutch.
Am I in neutral?
Yep, you're in neutral, so you can pull your foot off the clutch and there's the brake. Now, we're on a little bit of a hill, so if she pulls her feet off the brakes, it's gonna make it go. So pull your foot off the brake again, and for those of you who can't tell, we're moving. All right, so put your foot back on the brake.
Wow.
And then we have the clutch over here. Put your foot on the clutch once. Now, what a clutch is just like a standard car, where when you let off the clutch, it's gonna engage the engine. With this, we also have one other lever right here, and that puts us into forward or reverse. So right now the clutch is not engaged because that's not forward or in reverse. But it will drift because if she takes her foot off the brake, because we are in complete neutral right now. So with the tractor though, if you notice, she doesn't have a gas pedal that she's necessarily using. That little pedal over there to the right will make it give you a little bit more RPMs, but it's not necessarily, you don't use it like a gas pedal. With tractors, what you have is you have an RPM gauge. And so on the tractors, we don't have a speedometer. It doesn't matter how fast we're going. All that matters normally is how many RPMs we're using. And how we actually set those RPMs is either by that pedal, or more often, right here on the steering column is the accelerator and decelerator. So unlike a car where you're constantly up and down on the gas, a lot of times with tractors, like if we're plowing, you're gonna take that accelerator and you're gonna get it up to where it is at right around 20,000 RPMs. And so that's what we wanna do. And so you can actually see here on my thing, there's a PTO guide. And so when we're at full PTO, we're gonna get that engine all the way up to those PTO ratings. And that's how you judge the speed of the tractor. So now what we're gonna do is Katie's already lifted up the plow. We'll show you that on the other side, but we have little controls over here that control your hydraulics. So when she lifts and lowers them, what happens is that plow moves. Go ahead and do it once, Kate. And you can see right now she's actually lifting up the tractor with it. She was pressing down, and it has so much power it'll actually lift the front end of the tractor off the ground. And then we can take it back and forth. Go ahead and swing it all the way to one side. And the reason you want to swing your plow all the way to one side is if you're going through really deep snow, if you try to push it all straight, the tractor will even bog down or not be able to push. It will lose traction. So what you want to do is be able to angle it, and that way you can push all the snow off to one side, and then you come back the other side of the road with it angled the opposite direction. Right like that. All right, so she's going to use the levers, and we're going to take it back to straight so that we don't hit anything as we drive. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to try to drive this a little bit. So what we've got to do first, put your foot on the clutch. So she's got her foot on the clutch. I'm gonna put it into gear. And then what's gonna happen is, all right, what you're gonna do is leave off your brakes, and then you're gonna slowly leave out your clutch. And off we go. And so now we're driving. We're going down past our shops, and we have down by our pond, we have a spot where we're gonna put this. All right, Katie, if we can take your foot completely off the brake, and now push your foot down on that little orange pedal a little bit. And what that will do is it'll increase our RPMs, and if we increase our RPMs, we'll go a little faster. Now, if we want to go a little faster, push it on the clutch, and now what we're gonna do is this has gears like a standard car would. So right now we're in 2, we can shift up to 3. And then go ahead and let go. And what's gonna happen? Whoo, we're gonna go a little faster. And so we're gonna take the tractor down to the pond, and then we'll show you where we actually take this off. Right over there. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pull that bolt out that we looked at earlier. And then what we actually have to do is use the hydraulics of the tractor. It's quite a little dance to get this thing off. So the first thing we're gonna do is get the bolt off. Hold on. So I thought I measured the top bolt right. I didn't. And after gunk falling on my eyeballs, actually oil dripping on my face, I'm going back to our trusty adjustable wrench. That top bolt I can't really see, and I thought I measured it right up at the shop. I was wrong. So luckily in my handy dandy old truck, I always keep this. So now let's try taking the bolt off a second time with the correct implements, and we'll see if it works this time. After dropping the nut on my face also, one bolt off. And this bolt, what it does is it has for safety, its threads are tapered, so it actually came real easy until I got to right where it was gonna come off, and that's where I needed to have the wrenches to get it off. It wanted to stick on me. So All right, that's the first part. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna throw some blocks of wood underneath to where it won't go all the way down to the ground next time. And then we're gonna pull this shaft out, and then we're gonna get the whole thing to drop. So that's what our next stages are. Let's get our tools out of the way so we don't back over them. Put that underneath. Now what it is, the tongue bar is held on by this bolt. It's real tough. So now what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to be real careful, and he's gonna start up the tractor, and we're gonna try to get this loose by putting pressure down in the front. This is the tongue bar that normally holds all our implements on. Now it's out of the way.
Got all the blocks in?
What's that? Yep, all the blocks are down. All right, then we're gonna come up with there was a pin underneath holding that on. Now we're going to pull that out. Now if everything goes right, you should be able to back up just a few inches, and then we're going to pull off all the hydraulics. So go ahead back just a little bit. Now let me do again. All right, so now what we've done is we pulled this out. We got this out of the way to where it'll keep coming out once we've got the hydraulics disconnected. There are hydraulics that use oil to force these cylinders. These cylinders are hydraulic cylinders, and what it is the pressure of oil coming through the tubes from the tractor make them go in and out, and they have an amazing amount of power. And that's how Katie earlier was able to lift the tractor up using this, is with the power that comes out of these cylinders. So they hook up in the back of the tractor, and I'm going to show you how they disconnect. All right, so now we're at the back of the tractor, and Brooks up in the tractor here has gotten off all the pressure. If you don't push your levers back and forth, they still have pressure on them, they won't come out. If everything is right, they should come out real easily. Now you can see them dripping oil there a little bit. That is the hydraulic oil. And what that is that is what drives those hydraulic cylinders. And it's amazing the amount of power that you can get out of hydraulics. Hydraulics is how all big machinery runs. Then we put these back in just to keep the hydraulic parts clean. Because on the back of a tractor, you can see it likes to get lots of garbage on it. And so without those caps, they'll fill full of garbage and not want to run as efficiently. Now what I've got to do is I've got to pull all those cables out through. All right, now we've got to get them out of the way of the tractor. Now, if everything goes right, you should be able to back right out of this. And so now you can see the whole frame of what was left that was below that. And so what we do is, this is our snowplow. And what I wanted to do was get that tractor ready, because with this beautiful sun and spring coming, this guy's gonna have to start using the other kind of plow, the plow that plows the earth, so we can get the sweet corn and strawberries started. So that is what our goal of getting this disconnected was all about. Thank you all for watching. Keep tuning in all week long. We're gonna keep trying to do these, just little things of us being on the farm, just to help everybody get through these somewhat boring times. Thanks all for watching.